Well, this movie opens up a lot of possibilities for Sony and Spider-Man. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So Into the Spider-Verse is a Spider-Man animated adventure with Miles Morales Spider-Man. It's actually an origin story of Miles Morales Spider-Man. It's not like he's been doing this for years. Peter Parker Spider-Man's in this movie. He has been doing this for years, but they come together and something happens and the Spider-Verse gets fractured. And other Spider-Mans get brought into the adventure and Spider-People, Spider-Gwen, and a Spider Cartoon Pig. So now bring on the adventure. It's a really fun adventure too. It's not just fun. I mean, fun is in here, but it has heart. You get invested. You really get attached to Miles Morales. You see that he's at this yuppie school and he's just kind of a fish out of water. You just really feel for the dude. So I feel like if you're a Miles Morales fan going into this movie, you're really gonna feel like the movie did him justice. If you're not a Miles Morales fan, this will bring you over to the Miles Morales side of things. Because he's a legit Spider-Man, a really likable dude. But the movie was hilarious. It was funny as hell too. Noir Spider-Man was hysterical, had me on the floor. Funny, when I was driving home, I was comparing this to the Raimi Spider-Man movie. In the Raimi Spider-Man, even the Amazing Spider-Man, he doesn't actually get the Spider-Man suit. He doesn't become Spider-Man until about an hour into the movie. This movie is longer. He doesn't actually get his stride until the end. Most of the movie is him learning about it, getting a handle on it. Like the Raimi Spider-Man skipped over that part. He's like, I have these powers. Uncle Ben died. Then it zooms into the artwork, and then now he's been Spider-Man for a while. This, with Miles Morales, not Peter Parker, is that in between. It's the growing pains. It's him learning. It's him trying to figure it out. Him being mentored by Peter Parker. When I saw the trailer, I was like, Peter Parker kind of looks like a slob who doesn't care. I don't know if I like that. There is a story-based reason for it. It actually works really well for this movie. The animation style in here is a funny thing because it is stylistic. It's pretty slick for the most part. It absolutely does work for the type of action-based animation they want to show here. On the other hand, though, the animation's smooth as butter sometimes. Some other times, it looks like the animation drops frame rate. I imagine it's purposely done, not accidental, like when you're streaming something and it drops frame rate. But it goes from smooth, and when people are interacting, it looks like they're almost in the stop motion animation type of frame rate. You get used to it. The animation does work for the story. What they're trying to do is make a comic book come to life, essentially. This animation style does work for that. And after that, you slip into it and you really appreciate what the animation does for the action sequences. That quick frame animation does lend itself to action being very fast. So it makes for very exciting Spider-Man action when it's going down. So in the end, it really does work. Any negatives I have, like, they're just gripes, really. They're nitpicks. It runs into essentially what the Raimi Spider-Man movies run into, or at least Spider-Man 2, because that was the one with the villain who was essentially a normal dude. Like, Doc Ock has tentacles, but he's a normal guy. He's not super powered. So when Spider-Man punches him in the face, I'd be like, you should be out. There was actually one joke, again, I'm gonna say nitpicks. There was one joke in here that had to do with the pig that kind of, I feel like it broke the fourth wall. Like to a Deadpool degree. And I don't know if the pig is supposed to be like that, but it was said by someone else, not the pig. But I did feel like, leave the meta humor to Deadpool and let's do Spider-Man stuff here. Again, I said nitpicks, but it's something that just stood out to me. Guys, in the end, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was a very fulfilling Spider-Man origin story. That's the word I had when I walked out of it. I was like, it was very fulfilling. It's a great coming of age story. It's a great superhero origin story. It's a Spider-Man origin story you haven't seen on the big screen 100 times, or at least twice. It has heart. It's exciting. I like Miles Morales. I like the supporting cast. All the voice acting was great, which is funny. Mahershala Ali plays Miles Morales' uncle in this movie, which is the same character Donald Glover played in Spider-Man Homecoming. Very irrelevant for this review, but I think it's cool. Miles Morales, you are cool. You have solidified yourself as a legit Spider-Man in my eyes. Sorry I'm a little late to that party. Not only did I like Miles Morales, but I liked his relationship with Peter Parker, or at least this universe's Peter Parker. It was a really good story. But I will say Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is definitely worth watching, definitely worth buying on Blu-ray. I am curious as to the possibilities this opens up for Sony. I really am. There are some Spider-Man stories I would totally love to see on screen in the vein of this animation. Like right now, I'm currently reading Superior Spider-Man. I'm in the second trade. I'm not too far, but I'm really digging it. Superior Spider-Man's when Dr. Octopus's consciousness has swapped with Peter Parker. So it's Doc Ock's mind in Peter Parker's body. And he's like, I can be a way more efficient Spider-Man than he was. I'm not going to waste it like him. I'm going to be a superior Spider-Man. But I was reading it just last week. I was like, we will never see this story on the big screen. But after this, maybe that'd be really cool to see a superior Spider-Man story in the vein of this animation, or an original Spider-Man story. I'm just saying this is the Goldilocks zone for Sony. You don't have to compete with the MCU. Do your own thing. This is totally their own thing. I think they knocked it out of the park. All right, so Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, comment below. Let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.